cinematography. That was a Chris Brown and Young Thug Go Crazy. There is an old adage that silence is golden, but silence is also a lack of rage. I hope this is the last time that I'm going to discuss this. I plan on it being, unless something significant comes up. I would say this, that Dave Chappelle won more fans than he lost during this last foray. Dave Chappelle won more fans than he lost. And I would think that particular movement that day on this particular thing lost more fans than it won. Silence is a lack of rage. You can tell. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's particularly angry about it. Look at the ratings for the special. Look at the reviews for the special. And unless you have a specific mindset, it was brilliant. It was genius. It did well. And even if it isn't that, more people, if you want help, you never yell help, yell fire. And they've yelled fire and it's become more popular. Dave Chappelle has made more fans, and that movement on this particular subject has lost more. You can tell by the lack of outrage. Yes, trans employees walked out, but in any business situation, you understand that changes don't happen as a result of what happens in the break room. They happen as a result of what happens in the boardroom. They're not mass defections. Netflix not losing money. Its bottom line isn't changing. It generally, besides a certain segment of our population, has been dealt with basically a collective yawn. People are bored about it. They don't understand it. And it is because the message seems frivolous. This nation, particularly in the last year and a half, has seen real tragedies when it comes to segments of our society that are underrepresented, segments of our society that are maligned. This nation has watched, and generally, when a maligned group, a group that is disenfranchised, in order for this nation to move forward and to recognize any level of change, it has to see tragedy. Look at all the things that had to happen for black people just for people to think that we were human. All the beatings and deaths and brutality, they had to see it. Look at just what happened as a result. We've been home for 2 years dealing with the pandemic. Look what this nation has seen. From Breonna Taylor to Ahmaud Arbery to George Floyd. This nation had to watch it happen before it would agree to some of these things. It generally had been silent when all the other tragedies happened, but it had to watch it happen. Look at what happened when 19 people were slaughtered at a mall in El Paso. This nation had to watch it happen and then agree it was happening. Look at what happened in terms of agents. 9 people were slaughtered at a massage place, and this nation has to watch it happen. That's generally what happens. This nation, in order for black or brown or yellow people to get any kind of relief or any kind of agreement, this nation has to see it bleed. If you contrast the tragedies that this nation has seen and reacted to in the last year and a half, there were Ahmaud Arbery, there were Breonna Taylor, there were George Floyd, there was a shooting in El Paso of 19 slaughtered people just minding their business. There were 9 people at massage parlor. You contrast that with a group of people angry about a joke. A joke, literally. Watching people die in full public view, watching brutality visited on people is what has had to happen for black or brown or any maligned or disenfranchised community to even register on this country's psyche. Contrast with a group of people who are angry about a joke. Now, make no mistake, if that had actually been real tragedy, I would be the loudest voice. This is frivolous and silly. I don't call for every great civil rights movement there is, every worthy cause, even in our struggle, there's Tawana Brawley. For everything fight that's worthy, there's Jesse Smollett. Sometimes you jump the gun. Sometimes you overshoot the mark. And it's hard for people to relate. And you should know when you've lost. You should know when you lost. Nothing is changing. Scholarship, subscriptions aren't dropping. It's basically becoming a mockery. And I don't have empirical data, but I can hear the deafening silence. Silence. No one is angry. Besides a very small group of people. The people who editorialize, the people who keep this going, the people are a very small group of people. They're the loudest, but a small group. And you can tell by the way this nation yawns. And sometimes you got to know when you've lost, when the fight isn't working. And also, if you want to have allies, you have to be one. Every time I hear from that community, it is always specific to them. It is evocative. If you want allies, say something when it doesn't concern you. And you can tell, it's not just silence from the public at large. How many civil rights groups, noted civil rights groups, has come to this offensive picture? They're dealt with a collective yawn, silence. And now that is what should happen here. You lost. It's not going to change. That's going to go on. People are going to laugh and watch it. Silence. Take Lauryn Hill's advice. You may win some, but you just lost one. That is a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.